So nobody else is doing this, apparently. Only Michigan is the target. We don't hear of any of this going on. I can't remember this being an NCAA allegation. I forgot that it was a rule. It was instituted in 1994 from more of a budgetary standpoint.
It was instituted, and it was instituted for budgetary issues. That's why. Yeah,
exactly.
That you can't have in-person scouting. Okay. Yeah. But I have no idea how Joe from Flint, who doesn't work for the program, doesn't work for anybody, how's that in-person scouting? If I go to a game, Mark, and I want you to, if I go see Ohio State play, and it's against somebody else, or if actually I'll take it back. If I go see another game, and it would behoove me that I saw something, and I'm like, I'm gonna call my buddy Mark Rogers because Ohio State plays them next week, and I'd kind of it'd be good for us if that team lost. All right, you pass that up the food chain, and it works for them. What is that a crime? Why would a private citizen be subject to NCAA rules? Do you even know how that works? How is a private citizen subject to NCAA rules?
Well, they are not. But we're not talking about a private citizen. We're talking about somebody that's connected to the program, or else Michigan wouldn't be able to suspend them.
No one is alleging that Connor Stallion went to any of these games and filmed.
Well, see, that was going to be my next question, because in this day and age, I would think it would be very easy to track such things on computers and phones.
No question.
Attending what games.
No one's alleging that. Even the story that came out today, they're saying he bought tickets. Okay. I buy tickets for people all the time. So what? I mean, first of all, if you wanted to steal people's signals, just use the all 22. Mark, how many games have you been to? I know you've been working for a network. You have your own network now. How many games have you been to in the last few years, Mark?
I've been to a handful in the last 5.
Okay. Mark, how hard is it to sit there at a game when everybody is standing up, all the commotion and everything on the sidelines, to sit in the stands and spot this stuff from in the stands? Do you know how freaking hard that is?
Yeah, I would not be able to do it. Yes.
No one could do it. I mean, at any point in time, someone stands up, you get half of you're logging the signals and which plays they ran out of which formations. You get a half a signal, but then everybody stood up to watch the play and you didn't get the other. You just watch the all 22 do this on your screen to zoom in and just sit there and just chart it in an office. That's all you'd have to do. That's all anybody has to do. The whole thing is, this is the stupidest thing. One of the stupidest things I have ever heard. Michigan State saying, they fear to the health and safety of our players. Well, after watching the game, there's other reasons you feared for the health and safety of your players. All right. But get the bleep out of here with that. What a bunch of friggin' pansies. My gosh. We just are such a bunch of pansies as a whole society. I mean, get the hell out of here with this whole thing. Okay? See, Ohio State, we had to change our signal. Dude, if I was an old school Ohio State fan like you, I'd be embarrassed. That's like Gene Smith saying, well, we can't play the playoffs outdoors. We need to play them indoors. Woody Hayes, from wherever he is resting in peace, will return to haunt you and hunt you down for such tomfoolery. You can't play outdoors. What the hell is this? And now we had to change our signals. You just literally went to a national media platform and said, we changed our signals so Michigan would know we were running, and they kicked our ass even worse. That doesn't mean what you think it means, dude. It's called a self-own, okay? This entire thing is one of the most ridiculous things I have ever seen. I mean it too. I mean, this is just stupid. I rooted for the Fab Five. That was some good old-fashioned cheating there. All right, Ed Martin just flat out freaking paying Chris Webber right out of pocket, man. That's what you do, bro. We earned all those vacated wins. We earned them all. No complaints. And you know what? I've never watched any of the old Fab Five games and thought to myself, I've never watched Chris Webber dunk on Jimmy Jackson in that elite final and thought, And it's just a damn shame this game was vacated. Never thought it. Don't care. No one else does either. That was some real cheating there. This is dumb. Basically, the argument is Michigan, even if this is all true, I don't even know how you prove this. How do you know what the hell a guy's taking photos of or he's doing in the stands when everybody holds a phone? Okay. I don't even know how the hell this is even proven. Okay. But the idea that, Michigan just came up with a loophole to do something everybody else already does differently than they did. This is just dumb. We're dropping McDonald's bags of cash. We've got quarterbacks saying they didn't bring me here to play school. We got internet school. We got no school. We got basket weaving school at North Carolina. We got Bill Self, part of a money laundering operation with a corporation called Nike. I'm sorry, with Adidas. Stealing signs. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in the history of college sports. This entire thing, but I got to tell you, I'm so thankful for it. I am. Number one, I hope it's all true. I mean, this would be one of the most badass things ever. All right, man, I'm getting run out of here for winning 70% of my games, and I can't beat a bunch of cheaters. Screw that, dude. You want it ruthless? Jim, if that's true, Jim Harbaugh needs to be chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, not a football coach, number one, okay? Number two, I mean, this is, if you were worried about complacency, if you were worried about, they haven't played anybody, they're going to get kind of soft, monotonous. Oh, no. The chip you all just put on that team's shoulder with this, if I was the rest of the Big Ten, if I'm an Ohio State fan, I'm like, I'd be so pissed at my coaches for talking to anybody about this and doing this. Are you kidding me? Keep your mouth shut. They're overconfident. We ambush them Thanksgiving weekend, and then we can say anything we want to say. Oh, you only beat us the last 2 years because you had our signal. Say anything you want. By running your mouth now, oh my gosh, dude. From a motivational standpoint, this is a gift. Manna from heaven, man. Are you kidding me? That entire team right now is so pissed off. Did you see Sharon Moore running smack and waving bye to Michigan State as they left the field? Michigan doesn't do stuff like that, at least not on camera. We like to pretend we're better than you when we're not, okay? On camera, we don't. That's like Miami to you kind of stuff. JJ giving them the parade wave goodbye. Oh, gosh, you guys have no idea what you've done with this, but I do, and I am extremely thankful. That is one hell of a motivational tactic. We've kicked your ass for the last 2 years, and it's because we stole your signals. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Go with that. Thank you.
You forgot that it was snowing and half the team had the flu.
Yes.
Let's not forget those.
I mean, I can't, the whole thing is it's just really dumb.
Let me ask you two questions, though.
Really dumb.
If in fact a staffer from Michigan or any other school is going to a game of a future opponent, regardless of whether you can prove that they're in the stands to steal signs, that is against NCAA guidelines, correct?
Regardless. No, I don't think it's against guidelines.
You have to prove that they're there.
You can't sit in the stands. Your kid's playing. You can't sit in the stands.
Well,
see what I'm saying? I don't know. You know why you don't know, Mark? Do you know why you don't know? Because it's dumb, Mark. That's why you don't know. Well, the reason why this hasn't been thought out and clarified and quantified is because it's dumb, Mark.
It is dumb. That's if why. Everyone has the same resource.
Because I could go watch Matthew Loves Ball on YouTube, who gives me all the games, okay, and just do it off of YouTube. I could get the all 22 film, and I could zoom in with my finger on my iPad, and no interruptions. Nobody standing up. Nobody in the stands wondering, hey fella, what are you filming? Nothing. And just do it that way in a sterile environment. Or here's the thing I could do. I could change my signals, Mark. Most teams run a check with me system. What the hell good does it do to steal their signals anyway in a check with me system? They're calling the play at the line of scrimmage, for goodness sakes. What the hell is this, Mark? Do you know? This is the dumbest crap I've ever seen.
So you're going to answer the obvious next, and you're going to tell me that the NCAA has a vendetta against Jim Harbaugh, correct?
I think it's
Because he's blowing
pretty
them off.
obvious that the NCAA has an erect phallus where Jim Harbaugh is concerned. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Why, I don't know. Is it because he, has been pretty vocal about that the players have access to the TV money? I could see that. I mean, they're up on Capitol Hill right now trying to get Congress to save them from themselves. And you've got one of the most high profile coaches in all of college sports saying it's time to give the players a little taste of some of a spoonful of that sugar. It just completely undermining him. That could be it. I don't know. Here's what I know. I know that the NCAA once ruined Rick Neuheisel's college coaching career out of participating in an NCAA tournament basketball pool that the university's compliance department had told him that he had approval to be a part of. And they ruined his coaching career, and he spent years and years and years fighting them until he was finally exonerated. I know that. I know that there are a bunch of schools that used shoe companies to money launder, and they're even on tape doing it. And some of those coaches are still coaching right now. I know Rick Pitino once stopped off at a restaurant, banged the waitress, got her pregnant, paid for her to abort their kid, and he's back coaching at a power conference, St. John's, this year. I know that. Yeah. Those are some things I know.
So it's either that there's a vendetta against Harbaugh, or the NCAA knows that it's a worthless outfit these days, and if they get any kind of lead from anyone, they're going to look important and rise up and beat down a power. Because
look, it's the same pattern you saw in July with Big Ten Media Days. The same Corona Bro sports writer, Pete Thamel, who him and Pat Forty, those guys did everything they could. Dan Wolken did not have a college football season in 2020. The Corona Bros, if you remember them, right? So Pete Thamel gets a leak that there's a plea deal, basically, for Jim to serve a 4-game suspension at Big Ten Media Days. Funny. They just got that leak right at Big Ten Media Days, not the day before, not the week before, not 6 months before. That very day. And Michigan's like, we don't know what you're talking about. Funny. Right before the most high-profile game Michigan's played in so far this year, national TV against the in-state rival. Lo and behold, Pete Thamel's got the nuts. Did you hear Reese Davis say on game day, an NCAA source texted him right there on the stage during the show? Because I did.
I have stayed away from game day for quite some time.
You know what? I'm getting there. The show is becoming unwatchable, and it's sad because it was the greatest pregame show since the original Brett Musburger NFL Today. But it's really gone downhill. But that's a topic for another day.
Probably topics that we have covered, but we wanted to honor these.
Let me stop for a second, if you don't mind, Mark. You're not a Michigan fan. You tell me what I am missing. Tell me I'm wrong, that this isn't the dumbest turd shit you've ever heard of, this entire thing.
Okay, so my response to this initially was, we do what we typically do here. I find out that this is a story. We jump on here live as soon as possible. And my initial reaction was, are we talking about, before I read anything, are we talking about in-game stealing of signs? Okay, that's ridiculous. It can't be that, because we can't punish people for being smarter than their opposition. Okay, so then we find out it's this advanced scouting, which of course is the lifeblood of professional sports, sending, your baseball scouts out to the next series of the opponent that your team's playing. So that's obviously something that goes on in sports and is reputable, but because of this 1994 rule, it's obviously not allowed. But I still thought, why would Michigan risk anything? Why would they risk all that they've built, all that they've done? And in no way do I believe that they've been as successful as they've been over the last couple of seasons based on just simply having some knucklehead go out to games and stealing signs that, as you mentioned, can be changed. They're changed in game at times. They're certainly changed in game in baseball. I know that goes on a regular basis.
Maybe Michigan hacked into the cameras at all of your practice sites.
We do know that apparently Multiple Big Ten coaches, though, went to the NCAA. And what about the comment about the one that circulated,
including the one who said we changed our signals before we played them last year, and then they went out and kicked our ass even worse, including that one. He went to the Big Ten too. Yeah.
So Greg Schiano makes this comment at halftime.
Michigan State changed all of its signals. Just suffered the worst loss at Spartan Stadium in the history of the rivalry. Greg Schiano, by the way, has said that he was not commenting about this issue. He has said that. Dude, Greg Schiano, because all the Michigan message boards immediately went to that guy, okay? And Greg Schiano went full Ice Cube, man. I ain't the one. Not me, okay? So, no, but he has already said the comment that he made there's some weird stuff going on out there, was about officials' calls and not about Michigan stealing their signals.
Okay. Jackson here asking about Michigan not being tested this season. If that bothers you, what you have to say about that. So
I'm not bothered by that as much as JJ McCarthy has taken 4 snaps in the fourth quarter. So I don't think Blake Corum has taken a snap in the fourth quarter this year. So I'm a little bit more concerned about that. Like, I don't think Ohio State or Penn State are going to produce some level of physicality that Michigan hasn't seen in practice all day, every day leading up to those games. I'm a little bit more concerned about if they're able to extend that game into the fourth quarter and how does that work? I'm a little bit more concerned about that, which maybe is another way of saying the exact same thing.
I, by the way, have had fun playing with Michigan's schedule. Now, they played nobody in the Big Ten yet. Not their fault, of course. They get handed the conference schedule. But the non-conference schedule, there was no reason to cancel this UCLA series, as opposed to Ohio State canceling Washington the next 2 seasons, knowing that obviously they're going to be a league member. But again, Michigan's playing the game that they don't need these non-conference games, so they're not necessary.
No, I think it's smart scheduling. I mean, if you're going to sell out every game anyway, and the SEC is going to play FCS foes the second to last week of the season, and no one bats an eyelash, what the hell are you falling on your sword for? I don't have a problem with it at all. You know?
We need a governing body, and we need uniformity with scheduling. Nick says, I'm fine with playing the villain. Ohio State and Michigan State can't beat Michigan, so now they are blaming losing to Michigan on cheating. Soft programs. I never thought I would see Ohio State cry so hard.
I'm totally down with this role. Maybe anti-hero is better. Like, I love the fact, like Ric Flair is a longtime Michigan fan, got offered a scholarship by Bo Schembechler back in the day. Okay. I love the idea of going 4 horsemen. Okay. Just like, I love it. I'm so in right now. I'm in on this. I love it. I love I love all the hate. I love that it's real too. Not Ryan Day picking a fight with an 81-year-old leprechaun. Where's Lou Holtz? Give me back my son. Okay. I love the fact that it's like legit Michigan versus everybody. Absolutely come at us. I freaking love that. I love it.
I have felt that for a long time on behalf of Ohio State. I would argue that Ohio State's probably the most hated program in the country, probably. And you haven't felt that for a long time,
and
except
I've missed it a lot. I've missed that. I don't like being the plucky underdog. That was the one part about 2021 I did not enjoy. Being liked by everybody again, the plucky underdog. It's great that they finally got it done. Nope, screw that. I want the heat. I want the hate. I want the smoke. Because that means I'm kicking that ass. That's what I want. You bet. Yes.
Wow. What I need to endure now, and what I have to endure and have been subjected to with Steve in jumping on Michigan podcast, which I find and claim to be a blessing to jump on each and every Tuesday with Steve. But it used to be so much fun from the perch that I held versus looking down at Steve. And I no longer have that status, unfortunately.